Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Midland Marauders painting tutorial. It's Paul here, and in this one we are going to be painting some super quick and simple Blood Angels armor. I didn't want hanging around painting these minis because we just wanted to get them painted up as quick as possible to get like a whole squad painted for the table. So I've done two different types here. The last few I did three different types, but I only did two this time. So I did an overbrush dry brushing technique, and then I used the Games Workshop contrast paint technique. And I preferred speed-wise the way the overbrushing dry brushing technique turned out. So I'll go through it and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so for the contrast marine I undercoated this with the Corax White spray. And then I'm just going to go to the old reliable contrast paint Blood Angels Red for the armor, and I'm applying this with a medium shade brush that I have. This is a pretty old brush. The tip on it is not particularly good, but it will be fine for the job we're doing with it today. I've already given the paint a good shake. Make sure you give those contrast paints a really good shake, because sometimes some of the pigment can stick at the bottom. And I just apply lots to the palette. Clean off the brush just that I can sort of control what's on the brush, and start applying the contrast paint. The key to applying it to power armor is apply lots of paint to a particular area. As you can see, I'm starting on the leg here. So we'll do the whole leg. And once we have the leg done, we will move on to a separate area. What I have noticed with this is that if you don't work it into all the nooks and crannies, you will only realize it when it dries, and you will see some of the white coming through. And this is not what we want at all. So just take your time, work it in, and most importantly, when you have the contrast paint on, keep an eye for pooling, because it does have a tendency to pool in corners and recesses as it flows down the mini. So just use a damp brush to soak that up as well. Okay, so with the Blood Angels contrast paint dry, I've got some Wild White Rider red on my palette. I forgot to take a picture of the pot. So I'm working it into an army painter dry brush, because there's a nice sort of a round head on it. And I'm just going to give this an all over dry brush very lightly of the Wild Rider red or layer paint. Just picking out all those raised areas, keeping away from the lower parts of the mini. Just working your way around it. Wherever you think the light's going to hit the mini, give it a little brush of the Wild Rider red. And for the final highlight, we're going to use some Fire Dragon Bright. I'm using a really small dry brush for this, because we want only just the smallest amount on this on the very corners, because the Blood Angels red is already like a pretty bright red that we're using on the armor. So just very gently just put that on, picking out the most prominent areas. And stick around to the end and you will see how it looks next to the other marine. Okay, so for the next one, I decided to give it an undercoat of Chaos Black spray. And I'm going to use Mephiston red on this. Now I'm not even thinning the paint on this. I'm using an extra large base brush from Citadel for this. And I'm going to do what's called overbrushing on this, because I wanted to give it a sort of a red that we saw in the Angels of Death animation from GW on the Warhammer Plus. So that's like pretty dark, a lot of black mixed in with the red.
Be lovely, wouldn't it?
So this was like, I was like, let's get this done super quick. And as I went through it, the scheme sort of grew on me more and more. And I think that this is the way I will paint my Blood Angels army when the time comes. And again, put the paint on your brush. I had a dampish brush. It's up to you if you've got the brush is dry or damp. It doesn't really make a difference, but take your time.
Benny was over there.
When
they were in Sharm
overbrush 10 marines in no time at all, because by the time you've got to like the 5th marine, the first one is already dry. Ready again. It's like super fast production line. But just be careful when you're putting on that red, that you do not clog the detail, because when you're overbrushing, that is
an 8-hour bus
a risky run. and try not to get too many brush strokes
with armed guards
in your final colour. So again, just work your way around, get that paint into all those recesses, and you can leave the black in the recesses, because for this method there is no washing, there's no nothing, there's like 3 paints and that's the red armour done. Okay, so that's the red done, as you can see. Pretty happy with how that turned out, and we've got the nice bit of black left in the recesses there. So now we're going to go to the Wild Rider Red again here, and I'm using the Army Painter dry brush. This is the medium dry brush, and I've already given this a shake as well. So you want to get this onto your dry brush, work it into the bristles, and rub off of as much of that paint as you can. I like to try it on my thumb, or that it will just give you an idea how much paint you still got on your brush there, as you can see. So we're just about right there. But so we start very, very gently brushing this on. This is just going to pick out the raised details on this again, and put the light source where we want it, which is shining down on the Mini. Well, that's where I wanted it. Just work your way around, picking out everything you want. Highlight it with your fire or your Wild Rider Red. Okay, so now we're going to go on to Fire Dragon Bright for the final highlight after we've done the Wild Rider Red. Again, I'm using the really small dry brush that came with the Army Painter set. Get some on the palette there, work it into the bristles, get as much off as you can. This small dry brush is it's a bit strange to use actually, but it's nice, I like it. And again, we're going to pick out only the raisiest of the raised areas with this, because we don't want to turn this into like you know, a Fire Dragon Warrior. Is that what they're called? The Eldar dudes? You know, it's a Blood Angel. So again, very lightly, work your way around. I'd say painting this Marine in total from start to finish took less than 10 minutes. So I would say that if I was doing a squad, I could probably paint a full 10-man squad, because you'd obviously get quicker as you went along. So you'd paint the squad in an hour with this method, which I would be extremely happy with if I was to turn out a squad of 10 Marines in an hour, start to finish. Okay, so on the one that I used the black undercoat on, I decided that I was going to paint in a few more details just to see how quickly I could get it done. So I started with some Corax White from the pot, and this Corax White is a little weird in the tub. I don't know, is it that there's some stuff down the bottom that's settled? I'm using a large brush for this, but it's really sort of watery in the pot, so I didn't even bother thinning it. I just took it straight from the lid, super quick, no time here. And I just picked out the Aquila on the chest. It's not an Aquila. It's the Impera. Come on, somebody let me know in the comment section what that is on the chest. It was in that arming of a Space Marine video that everybody loved, if only it wasn't an Ultramarine that was been armoured. So yeah, so just pick out any areas that you want to be not red with the Corax White. Also, after I had the Corax White applied, I applied it to the eyes as well, the screen of the Auspex, and then I picked out the Auspex with 2 thin coats plate metal, or you could use bolt gun metal, whichever you have. I also picked out some details on the gun with the plate mail, and then I just gave it an all over, well, I didn't give it an all over wash, but I used contrast paint Black Templar on the chest, on the metal areas, and on the gun. And then I used the green, Carandra's green to the eyes and the screen of the Auspex. So stick around and I'll show you it at the end. So here we have the finished marine that I overbrushed. I didn't actually clean up any of the red dry brushing that got onto the gun. When I painted the Black Templar on, it covered it enough. I also used it on the chest. I picked it out on the, there we go, I'll show you the calendar screen. I also used the Black Templar on the leather at the back with the bit of overbrushing on it. It did it fine, because remember, we're going for the Angels of Death colour scheme, which is a lot of blacks on it as well. So I was very, very happy. If I had a full army of Blood Angels painted like this, I would be happy. And I wouldn't be able to find anything wrong with it myself. Okay guys, so that is it for my Blood Angels painting tutorial. Let me know what you think. As you can see, that's the contrast one there. Picked out. Yeah, it's I'm pretty happy with it. As you can see where I'm talking about now with the white, so just make sure that you work it in there. You'll never see it though if and when it's painted up. That leaves a much, much brighter red. This one I prefer because it's got that sort of grimier look to it. As you can see, that's all just Black Templar in there. I picked out the couple of silver bits there. You can still see some of the blue where I missed with my Chaos Black paint, but you can't see it from there. The pouch is there. Purity seal, I just painted in black. Anything that was a bit too black, I just went back in with a damp brush and took some of the Black Templar off, and it worked out fine. So that is my painting tutorial for Blood Angels armor. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Would you go with with that darker red or the lighter red? And let me know what chapter you'd like me to paint next as well. I'm thinking maybe doing Space Wolves. Let me know what you think. Anyway, listen guys, thanks so much for giving me your time. Look, if you like the video, like them, share it, subscribe it, do all the things that the algorithm likes. And thanks so much for your support, and I will catch you all in the next one.